MLA in-text citation is pretty easy. In-text citation is just a marker for the full citation that comes at the end of the essay. We just put in a little bit of information in the text after a quote, summary, or paraphrase. This is so that it doesn't break up the text a lot with all of the information, such as the author, the journal, the date, everything like that. In-text citation, we really have two components. We have the author's last name and the page number. So let's take a look at the sample. This is for a basic source citation. So an article that you find on an academic database, we're going to start with just one author and it'll get a little more complicated from there. We're not going to get into every situation because there are many different types of sources out there and we just can't cover them all. If you want to learn more about how to cite various sources, go to the OWL, the online writing lab at Purdue, and that will give you all of the scenarios that you're looking for. All right, so like I said, all we're looking for the in-text citation is the last name and page number. These will be in a parentheses directly after your quote, summary, or paraphrase. Do not put this in the quotation marks. It goes outside of the quotation marks, and then the period follows the citation. So let's look at this example. Here, I possibly used a quote from an author whose last name was Manning. I found this quote on page 272. All of this information should be in the article itself. So that's all the information I need in parentheses. If there are two authors, we list the authors in the order in which they're listed in the article that we found. So in this case, I put Manning and Cruz, and then again, that page number. If there are three or more authors, now I can use the ETAL, which is Latin for and others. It's just showing that there are more authors than just Manning here. So if you have three or more, you'll use that ETAL. And you will have articles that have three or more. If the author is named in your sentence that leads up to the quote or the paraphrase. For example, we have Manning ETAL say. Why is it say? Because it's saying Manning and others say. And then we have our quote. Then all we need is that page number at the end because we've already stated the author up front. If there is no author, then we'll use the title of the article. Now don't give the full title because again, we don't want to break up our writing too much. Just use the first three words unless another article has that same title. You'll see that the title is in quotation marks, but again, just those first three words and then the page number. However, if there's no author, are we going to want to use that source? So we're really looking at web sources, which aren't the best. If it's peer-reviewed, it's likely to have an author. Here's an example. We see Dr. Jane Trustworthy in her research on the shifting notions of respectful discourse notes. Not all speech has been appreciated the same in terms of merit or timeliness. So we have the exact quote here. We have just the page number because we mentioned the author in the sentence. And this goes outside of the quotation marks and then the period follows. Now, one common thing that will come up is the indirect quote. This is when we find an article that is quoting somebody else, and we want to use that quote. If that's the case, we give credit to whoever the quote comes from. In this case is Wiley. And then we cite the author of the article that we found, which is Thompson and others. So I'm giving credit to Wiley. I give that quote, and then I'm going to put quoted in Thompson and others, and then that page number. This is something that will also be common as you start doing your research. So get to know these indirect sources and how to cite them properly.